Welcome into the lounge presented by DraftKings. I'm Ryan Mink here with Garrett Downing, and we are thrilled to sit down with rookie linebacker Teddye Buchanan. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And I'll say this, Teddye, you made history with this appearance because you are the first player. Yeah, I already got attention. You are the first player, I think, that has ever texted me, like reached out ahead of time to let me know, like, hey, I'm running a little bit late. Like, can we move to this time? Usually, we're like, and our guys are great. They're great. I don't mean to like whatever, but we're usually tracking them down. And Teddye was like proactive and was like, hey, I know we set up this time, like whatever, I'm going to be a little late. We're visiting a hospital. So kudos to you, Teddye. I knew I liked you already, and now I like you even more.
Punctual. It's perfect.
Appreciate that.
So, obviously embarking on your career here, and how do you feel like things are going for you so far?
Man, things have been great. I feel like I'm a part of an amazing organization, and just having the chance to, integrate with the team and meet all the guys, man, it's been really cool. And, yeah, I've been just having fun, man. I'm living out my dream, so just trying to do it to the best of my ability and just really be appreciative every single day.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the offseason program? You get here after the draft and you have to learn the playbook, you have to learn the city, you have to learn your teammates. What have you taken away from these last couple of months since being here and getting drafted?
Yeah, it's definitely been a process. I definitely feel like I've settled in compared to when I first got here. I kind of compared it to being a freshman in college. You just kind of, like every little thing, you're trying to find out where places are and, what do I eat? When is this going to happen? So just trying to figure all those things out. But as I've done that, it's been a great adjustment. I feel like mini camp and OTAs went really well. I feel like I grew a ton, and really I saw growth with everybody a ton. So that was really cool. And yeah, I feel like it's a small accomplishment to do that, but I'm proud of that.
Do you feel like when you're coming to a new place and you're a rookie, like part of it, you have to learn where things are. Like you got to learn where the locker room is and where the training room is and like what the process is. But then you're also trying to like make a name for yourself and show that you're ready to play and all that. Do you feel like there's like, how do you balance those things? Like I'm just trying to establish yourself, but then also trying to like learn how the NFL works. Like there's both things are kind of a big step when you're coming into this new place.
Yeah, it's definitely been one of the biggest challenges so far, is just finding that balance between figuring everything out, but also, pushing the envelope forward and proving yourself as a player. But I mean, yeah, it's kind of what you have to do as a rookie is, you want to respect everybody and what they've done. We have a lot of great players on this team. So, obviously, you want to show them the respect that they deserve. But at the same time, I want to prove myself to them and earn their respect as well. So, yeah, it's been a good process so far, and I feel like I've definitely made progress towards, making that adjustment.
Well, talking about impressing the veterans, I think, certainly you're doing that. And the unique thing about you is like you step right into a pretty good competition, and right next to Roquan, obviously Trenton's coming back and he was a starter at the beginning of last year. But like, I think a lot of people see that as like, hey, Teddye's going to push him, and that's going to be a competition. Like, how do you kind of view that? I know that's a lot for a rookie to be like, I'm competing for some serious playing time, but how do you handle it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't really look at it as, I'm just trying to focus on the day to day. So I just control what I can control. I try and show up every single day and do what I can do. And, whatever that leads to, that's really out of my hands ultimately. So for me, it's all about focusing on the process and just letting the result take care of itself.
Yeah. Well, you've looked good on the field, man. And I won't lie. The first thing that stands out when I'm looking out on the field, I'm like, Teddye is jacked. I'm like, you might have like the biggest legs of like, other than like a D lineman or O lineman, like, what is your quad workout has to be insane.
Well, yeah, I got to give credit to my dad on this one. He kind of got me into lifting at a young age, and it's something that I really enjoy. And yeah, I've been doing it for a while. So
you don't miss a leg day, it seems.
I try not to. So, but yeah, I mean, I feel like the weight room is a huge part of football, and it definitely has helped me not only just being strong and being a good player, but also staying healthy feel like that's super important for football, especially.
Yeah.
When did you start to get into weightlifting?
So my dad always had me doing like push-ups and stuff. So I feel like at 6 years old, I was probably doing push-ups and stuff. I'm not gonna, like, my dad wasn't like forcing me to do it,
sure.
but I just saw him doing it. So it made me really want to do it as well. And then, I would say I started lifting around like 11, 12, nothing crazy, but definitely introducing it young really helped me. And then again, seeing my dad do it, I feel like when your dad does something, you're going to kind of copy that and replicate it. So it made it easy for me to have that example.
Was he kind of your trainer growing up, or even still to this day, or did he just more get you interested in the weightlifting side of things?
Yeah, I mean, he's a huge football fan. So he coached me growing up, and I would say he kind of trained me as well. Nothing like super serious or formal, but it was always in a fun way that made me enjoy the game. So yeah, I mean, the workout stuff, the point is the workout stuff, it definitely comes from my dad.
Yeah.
What on the field, what's kind of been like some of the biggest takeaways or lessons that you feel like you've learned so far?
Yeah, it's I would just say, man, just continuing to be myself and just continuing to grow and improve and just do the things that have gotten me to this point, but also just try and improve on those things and just never being satisfied. I feel like a big thing that I've noticed is it's just every single day you have to bring it, and there's no day where you can just relax and be like, whatever.
I'm tired. I'm taking
there's no
off.
days off. So
right.
just coming prepared every single day and just really giving your all every single day and treating every single day as a new day.
Yeah. I feel like if you're in the same room with Roquan, then like there's no choice but to do that.
I agree. Yeah.
What's it like kind of being in the same room with him and I'm sure trying to pick up as much as you can from him?
Yeah, it's a blessing for sure to have a guy like that, who's done it at such a high level and just to be able to watch him on film, watch what he does in the day-to-day. And also, I'm just thankful for him embracing me as a rookie and kind of, taking me under his wing and teaching me. So, it's been an amazing room to step into. And Ro's an awesome player and just an amazing leader as well.
Yeah. You talked about this a little bit on the night that you were drafted, but obviously there's a great history of linebacker play in Baltimore. You have a great one right now on Roquan Smith, and when you go into that room, I'm sure there's pictures of Ray Lewis on the wall, or C.J. Mosley, or Zach Orr as defensive coordinator, like a long history, Jameel McClain, a lot of great linebackers who have been here. How do you take that on, knowing that like there's been this is a position maybe above any other where like excellence is expected?
Yeah, I am super excited about that. It's something that I love. Like I have the chance to prove myself and to continue this legacy. And when you have guys like that, like you have no choice but to step up your game and elevate how you play. So I feel like that's only going to make me a better player. And at the Ravens, like it means something to be a linebacker, and that's something I've heard and something I've noticed and felt. So I feel like that's only going to push me to be a better player.
Have you had your welcome to the NFL moment yet?
Man, yeah, I've had a few moments where it's like, wow, these guys are good. I kind of want to say I'm saving that for when the pads get on.
Yeah, it's still early.
There's been some moments, but I don't think there's been a official moment yet.
A wow moment.
Yeah.
What is there any part so far in practices where you're like, okay, like I can do this. I can cover this guy. Like I imagine when you get to this level, you're like, am I good enough to hang at this level? You know it, but like until you do it, you don't really know it. You know what I mean? Like what part of your game do you feel like, all right, this is translating? You know what I mean?
Yeah. For me, I feel like physically, like I feel like I can compete and run with guys. I feel like, I have the tools to do that.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like it's the main thing that I've been focused on, especially in OTAs and minicamp with no pads.
Right.
Has been the mental side of the game, understanding what the offense is trying to do and really understanding, the defense as it's all new to me.
Mm-hmm.
And, also practicing two positions, just balancing all of that. I feel like that's been my main focus.
Yeah.
And, you know, I feel like it's definitely an adjustment, but I feel like I've always believed in my ability. And, you know, going through this whole draft process and, you know, meeting guys throughout the league, throughout that, it's kind of gave me the confidence, like, okay, you know, I feel like I belong here, and I feel like I do belong here, and I am here, so I might as well, you know, give them my all and just let it loose.
Yeah. I'll say, so I was with you at Jimmy's Seafood for an event with the rookies.
Yeah.
Jameel McLean took them all, and they learned how to pick crabs and all this stuff. And this just popped in my head when you were saying that, was like another rookie came up to Teddye, and they were like talking through a play and like assignments on that play, and we're in the middle of like picking crabs, like everybody's just like chowing down, and you're kind of like, no, this is what it's called, and like this is everybody's role. And I was like, again, I was like impressed, you know. Right. And so it feels like you're just a dude who's like got his head on straight, and like you're about your business. Yeah. Where does that come from for you? Like, how do you look at that side of the game, the mental side and the preparation, film, and all that? Yeah,
well, I can add to that. We were at the hospital, which is a great thing we did today. I had a ton of fun with the kids. Yeah, and we're playing football with this kid, and he has the ball, and we're playing the two linebackers is me and Jay Higgins, and we're going through actual calls before he runs, you know. But
That's
but great. Yeah, I would say
it never stops, man.
It doesn't stop. But yeah, I would just say, I guess it kind of starts with, I was never like a highly recruited guy, so I feel like I've always had to do the little things and do the extra work to, you know, make sure I'm, you know, up to standard and stand out. Yeah, especially, you know, I didn't have that external validation to say, oh, you're a great player. It was always, you know, I had to prove myself. So with that comes, you know, doing the extra things, and I feel like that's kind of where I got that from.
So, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, why do you feel like you were more lightly recruited? You know, you started at UC Davis and all that. Hell, you were doing the push-ups. Didn't they know you were doing the push-ups since you were 5-6 years old?
Yeah, I mean,
what was going on here?
I think a part of it, you know, reflecting on and having the perspective is, I played quarterback really in high school a lot of the time. So my defensive tape, I would say it was good. I thought it was good, but I was playing quarterback also, so there might have been question marks there. And I also had my best year by far my senior year. So
kind of late on
the for you know, a lot of colleges have already given out their offers by their junior year. Right. But man, I would really say that was a blessing for me. Like I said, I didn't have that, everyone telling me how good I was at a young age. So it just continued to drive me, and I feel like, you know, I wouldn't take it back for anything. I feel like it, you know, ultimately got me to where I am now.
So you played quarterback in high school, and of course you played linebacker as well. But if we were having this conversation when you're a junior, senior in high school, like, were you hoping to play quarterback at the NFL? Were you thinking that defense was always the route that you would end up? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping to play quarterback until I got an offer from defense, and then I was like, all right, like,
yeah.
You know, I've been a football player since I was really young, so I've played both sides of the ball my whole life. So I was like, it's not necessarily something completely new. Like I knew I could play defense, but I did want to play quarterback until I didn't.
Yeah. What was your quarterback style? Like, how would you describe yourself as a QB?
I could throw. I was a passer first. Like, I could run, but like I really tried to distribute the ball first and then just run when needed.
Okay, trick plays. If we need a trick play here, you know, work that in.
That's real tricky.
No.
Special teams.
I think we have some other guys who like
special teams.
I've been lifting too much. I lost the shoulder mobility.
Special teams trick play over here. Do you actually think that the quarterback experience helps you in terms of understanding of the game, kind of like the quarterback of the defense in the middle there at linebacker?
Absolutely. I feel like just kind of knowing what it's like to play quarterback, that kind of helps you understand what the other quarterback is going through and what things might make it difficult for them or how it might make it easy. So having that understanding, and then having learned offense, obviously it's in high school, but still you have an understanding of how the quarterback is reading things and just different things like that, and just processing the game. And another thing that I think is like kind of underrated is the pressure of playing quarterback. It's, you know, it's a lot of pressure. So being able to take that to linebacker and be able to just kind of embrace the pressure that comes in any football game, has definitely helped me.
Nice.
That's interesting. I'm curious about, you talk about your journey and you wouldn't change anything. And like we said, you started at UC Davis and played for 4 years there, and then kind of had your breakout season last year at Cal. How did that journey kind of shape you going that path?
Yeah, I feel like it just made me a resilient guy. I feel like there were moments where, the NFL seems far out of reach. I don't know how many guys have really gone, at least gotten drafted to the NFL from Davis. It's not something you see every day, and just the FCS in general.
Right.
So, there's moments where, the path to the NFL was not very obvious or very clear. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that just made me resilient and really given me a strong belief in myself. Mm-hmm. It just like working my way up from that is something you can't take away, and something that, I'm proud of myself for doing.
And why did you want to play all 4 years at UC Davis?
Yeah, I felt like, Davis believed in me when I first got there, and there was a lot of things that I wanted to do there, a lot of games that I wanted to win, and I wanted to graduate from there. So I was able to get my degree, graduated with a degree in design. And then, when I felt like I had done everything that I wanted to do there, I felt like, okay, now it's a good time to leave. Yeah. I knew I could transfer for my 5th year. I kind of had mapped that out, and, I got great support from Davis. They were completely understanding and supportive in a sense of me leaving. And I just can't thank them enough for that.
Were you thinking, if you go back to your freshman, sophomore, junior year at UC Davis, you mentioned that the path to the NFL could be hard to see at times, but was your vision always that you would end up in the NFL, or were you thinking as a student athlete, hey, maybe I'll play the rest of my college career and then I'll go on to a career in design? Like, what was your thought process when you were at UC Davis in those early years?
Yeah, I feel like I always, I was always shooting for the NFL. But like in the moment, in the day-to-day, that's not necessarily what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about, how good of a player can I be today? What can I do to, when I'm a freshman at Davis, how can I, earn a spot? How can I get on the field? Am I good enough to get on the field with these college guys? So it was really a step-by-step thing. And then and that's kind of like the advice I would give to any like kid, anyone who's trying to, achieve a really big goal, is you have the goal, and then you kind of forget about it, and you really focus on what I can do today and what I can do in the position I'm in now to be the very best of that position.
Yeah, I think that's great perspective. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of guys who are at that level that dream of sitting in your shoes right now, and it can seem so far away. But I think it's good perspective that you have. So you play 4 seasons at UC Davis, and then you transfer to Cal, and you were a Cal fan growing up. Is this correct?
For me, Cal was my dream school. I honestly didn't watch a ton of Cal football.
Okay.
Just, I don't know why, but once like I took a visit there and stuff, and like I really loved it. I really wanted to go there, and they gave me a PWO, so I was going to take the scholarship over that. But yeah, it was definitely a place that I wanted to be coming out of high school.
That had to motivate you a lot,
for sure.
Yeah. You were like, I'm going to earn that scholarship.
Yeah, it was a good feeling when they came back around and I was able to earn a scholarship, and I really did have a lot of pride playing for Cal even in my first year, because that's my hometown team. So it really meant a lot for me to put on a uniform, and I just had a lot of pride playing for them.
Well, I mean, I remember moments in my career where it was like they said, you're not quite good enough, and the chip that puts on your shoulder to say, all right, I'm going to show you. So you did that. You went to Cal and like had this breakout season. You had a great season at UC Davis before going there, but then you on a national stage, you did it. Yeah. What was that season? How did it all come together for you this past season at Cal, and what did that do for you as a player?
Yeah, it was really interesting, because for me, I kind of felt like I was the same player. Yeah. Obviously, I'm getting better as I go, but it felt like I was doing the same things I was doing at Davis. It was just on a national scale, and everyone got to see it. And I had my coach, Coach Sermon. He was a linebacker coach in the DC. He really, I feel like, put me in a lot of good spots to make a lot of plays, and had a defensive system that, you know, I fit really well in. So that helped me out. And then I had, you know, just great players around me. So it all just worked out, and I was able to have some good games and just show everyone on a national stage what I could do. But it was just weird for me because I felt like I was doing a lot of the same things that I had always been doing.
Right.
Well, it's interesting because, like, he asked you about realizing that you can play at the NFL level. Like, you get out there and practice and feel like I can play. I'm curious if you go back to last year when you transferred from UC Davis to Cal, like, how quickly did you realize, like, oh, I'll have no problem hanging at this level?
That was actually a big thing in my mind was, you know, am I good enough? Like, I'm going to take a step up. You know, we played a few FBS teams at Davis. But, you know, I was like, how am I going to fare in a whole season?
Yeah.
How am I going to hold up? And I think, you know, we actually, we played Davis the first game. So that was crazy.
Was that emotional?
Oh, yeah. It was, I was relieved when it was over, I would say, just because, you know, there was a lot of media attention asking, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a game you can't lose just from a personal perspective. Like, I got all my buddies back at Davis. Like, I still talk to them all the time. I'm just talking to them now. And, if I lost that game, I'd literally never hear that.
You never hear the end of that one.
Like, I actually would have been, like, upset. Like, very.
Yeah.
But,
how many tackles did you have that game?
I think I had like 8.
Okay.
I had an okay game. Okay. But anyways, the segue is that we played Auburn the next week.
Yeah.
So it was a big step up. We played at Auburn, and we were able to go out there, win that game. I had a really good game, and I think that at that moment I kind of knew, like, okay, you know, I belong, and I not only do belong, but I'm a really good player.
That's awesome.
Watching your college tape, what stands out to me is, like, you're playing like your hair's on fire, man. Like, you are just all over the place. And, you know, I mean, ability to rush the passer, dropping coverage, obviously, you know, the run tackling, all that stuff. Like, you're everywhere. Where does that kind of style of play come from? And was there, like, a linebacker that you looked up to or emulated from your youth?
Yeah, I feel like, you know, I played a lot of sports growing up. Like, football's always been my thing. It's always been what I've been best at. But I played everything growing up. Mm-hmm. So just kind of having the versatility to, you know, just be an athlete and fit in different spots. I feel like it's something I'm good at, and something that, you know, it's helpful as a linebacker. You're asked to do a lot of different things. You're kind of, you know, sometimes you're up on the line. Sometimes you're dropping back to the post. So there's a lot of different things that you do. In terms of linebackers growing up, I feel like, you know, Ray Lewis stands out, obviously.
He had a pretty good career.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
You know, I'm from the Bay, so, like, Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, even Fred Warner, like Luke Kuechly. There's a lot of great linebackers that I can think of. Even started watching Rowe. So, yeah, there's just so many, and just trying to see what they do, emulate their game, and just aspire to be like those guys.
I said you play with your hair on fire. The one thing that stands out was the long hair in college.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah. So what? You know, that is kind of a signature. I feel like, I don't know, West Coast linebacker, the long hair spilling out of the helmet. So what happened? Why did you make the decision to go shorter?
Well, the decision came. I was in the shower, and I just, like, it took a long time to wash and detangle, and it's a whole process. And I was like, it was right after the season. I had the new year coming up. I knew I was going to go out to train for the combine. I was going to do the East-West game. I was going to do all these different things.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to be spending 30 minutes a few times a week washing my hair. Like, that's just too much. And another part of it was, you know, I kind of wanted to restart and kind of, as my NFL career goes on, kind of gradually grow the hair back out and kind of earn that back.
Earn the hair, okay.
Didn't want to just come in like, I just kind of wanted to earn it and make it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's a new look. How long had it been, like, since the haircut before you cut it this time?
I started growing it out right when COVID started, so it was probably like
it's a five-year run there.
Yeah, so it was a hard decision. It wasn't easy, but at the same time, it does feel good to just be able to like to not have all that hair.
It's a quick shower in the morning.
Right.
I'm curious about the combine. Like you helped yourself with the combine, had a really good performance there, and kind of like is the theme here. Like you proved yourself at UC Davis, and then pretty quickly once you got to Cal, that you showed everybody that you could hang at that level, and you're working to do that here. But the combine was an important step for you to really show your athleticism to these NFL teams. How important do you think that was, and ultimately getting you to this point of getting drafted by the Ravens?
Yeah, I mean, I think the combine is important. I don't know how important it is, but I was excited for the combine. You know, we did mock combines at Davis, so I knew roughly what my numbers were going to be, and I was excited to show that. I feel like a lot of people just didn't necessarily know.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you need to go prove it. You need to go do it, obviously, but I felt like it was a good opportunity to show what kind of athlete I am, and I feel like I was able to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Was there much talk between you and the Ravens during the draft process? Like, was this a place that you thought, I'm sure everybody has their, 3 to 5 teams that they think are most likely. Were the Ravens one of those for you?
Not really. Relative to the amount I talked to some other teams, I did not talk to the Ravens a bunch. So
yeah,
I was surprised but excited on draft day when I got that call from Eric. But yeah, that was an amazing moment, just getting that call. But yeah, it wasn't really on my radar, to be honest.
Yeah.
Where did you think you were going? Because I want to be able to go back like several years from now when you're balling out and having this great career, and I'm going to be like, they missed out.
Oh man, I had no idea. But in my head, I knew I was going to go. I just knew I was going to go somewhere where I didn't expect to go.
Okay,
but
you're expecting the unexpected.
I didn't have any 30 visits.
Okay,
but I had a bunch of Zooms. Mm-hmm. So I met with probably 20, 21 teams, but I did not meet with the Ravens on Zoom. So I was like, maybe they don't like me. I don't know. But yeah, it's hard. I had no idea where I was going to go.
I feel like a lot of 30 visits are honestly for guys that teams have questions about.
That's what I heard.
And just talking to you, it's like, yeah, this guy, he checks all the boxes. I think we got a good feeling about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my last question for you is West Coast guy, California kid. What's it like going West Coast to East Coast?
It's definitely different. It's the first time in my life where I'm just talking to people asking where they're from, and no one's from California. They're like, "Oh, I've never even visited." I'm like, "Oh my gosh,
you're missing out."
Yeah, you're missing out. It's great weather, but it's definitely different. But I've enjoyed it so far. I mean, I've had a chance to get into the city. I think every single dish you can possibly get out here has crab or something on it, some type of seafood. But that's
what we do.
Yeah, it's good though, and yeah, it's been fun. I feel like that's what life's all about, is exploring new places, and I'm just excited to continue to immerse myself in the community and get to know the city and the people. So I'm excited.
Is there a the pace? Is the pace different? I mean, I know that's what everybody says is, West Coast is more chill and all this stuff. For you, are you all right, this is kind of a different pace?
I don't know. I don't know about pacing. I feel like it's not that different. It's yeah, I mean it's more humid. It's
more humid.
It's definitely more humid.
But
that's for sure.
Davis was high. It's probably 100 degrees in Davis right now. If I check my weather app, it probably is. So the heat, it is what it is. Yeah, I think it's the winter that's going to be a little different.
Yeah.
That will be much different. My last question is this: I read that you are into cooking. Is this correct?
I am. Yeah.
Okay. So what's your go-to dish?
I really just like to make a good steak.
Okay.
Yeah. Ribeye or New York strip. Reverse sear method.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah.
What's the reverse sear method?
You put it in the oven first, so it gets up to temp. I like to, pull it out probably 120-ish, 122, and then you sear it and it continues to go up. But you kind of cook it first, and it's nice and dry. You can't really mess up the sear because it's already kind of cooked a little bit, and it turns out pretty good.
When you were his age, what was your go-to method? Cereal in a box or rice-a-roni?
Mine was spaghetti with ragu.
Well,
that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for the time, and look forward to you
it.
growing the hair out, because you're going to earn it now. You're going to grow the hair out. You're going to earn it, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, it's growing out. I'm not gonna I might get a lineup or something, but I'm not cutting it till it's long.
Awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah,
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Welcome back to the Lounge Podcast. We are coming to you from the SeatGeek studio. We want to mention our partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. They are an official sports betting partner of the Baltimore Ravens. DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Well, thank you to Teddye for joining us. Enjoy the conversation with him, just getting to know him a little bit. And look, he has the potential to be a significantly important player for this defense. He's in a competition really for a starting job along with Trenton Simpson. And there's possibility that both of them, of course, end up playing a lot of snaps for this team. But Teddie's a guy to watch this year. I really think that he could be a big-time player for this team.
Yeah, I think that, I would certainly handicap Trenton as being the leader for the starting job. He started much of last season, and I talked to him before minicamp finished, and he feels a lot better than he was last year, especially in the mental side of the game that Teddye also talked about and processing, and feels like things are slowing down and all that. So I think the Ravens feel good about where Trenton is, and Trenton feels really good about where he is. With that said, at linebacker, Roquan might play 100% of the snaps, but the other guy doesn't. And look at even before Trenton, wasn't starting last year, Malik Harrison played a lot of snaps. Chris Ward played a lot of snaps. So, there are inside linebacker snaps to go around. And I think that Teddye, along with Jake Hummel, who's going to be playing special teams primarily, I think Teddye could eat up a lot of those snaps that Malik Harrison and Chris Ward won't be now that they're elsewhere.
Well, it's interesting because both Teddye and Trenton have a similar skill set in that, man, they are athletic and they can fly around to the football. When I watch both of them, they have those skills. They can cover, they can run, sideline to sideline, sure tacklers. They have a lot of those similar skills. And so I think a lot of that's going to come down to just who's playing obviously the best in these preseason games and in training camp. Who seems to have the best feel for the defense, who's moving the best.
And
it could end up being a combination of the two of them. I think they're both really good players. So I like Teddye. I think that he's off to a really strong start, and now he just has to keep growing from here.
Yeah, and I just like him as a person. I was impressed with him here in this interview. He's just a mature guy for a rookie. You're like, man, and that really goes across this rookie class. I've been, as players and really as people, Malachi, feels like Malachi's been in the league for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I get similar vibes from Teddye. I just think he's got his head on straight.
I like players that prove themselves every step along the way.
Yeah.
Counted out, not really expected to do much, go to UC Davis. How many guys have played at UC Davis in the past 20 years? And all of them at some point probably thought, I'm going to go pro eventually.
All of them had those dreams.
Right. And he's done it now.
Right.
And so, but then he proves himself and he gets the scholarship from the big school. Then he goes into the big school. He wins a starting job right away, has 114 tackles, 5 sacks last year, and then ends up getting drafted. Now he's in a similar situation. Okay, next step up. You got to prove yourself. What can you do?
Yep.
And, I think that he's off to a strong start.
Yep.
So again, it's a long path here, but I think that all signs are pointing up on him, and it's been just good to get to know him a little bit, and I think that he's going to be an important player for this team.
And obviously, training camp will be the next step for him as a linebacker. You can look great in OTAs and minicamp, but once those big blockers start coming downhill and looking to really kind of put their pads on you and their hands on you, it's a different game. So that'll be an important step for Teddye as well. Yeah, so training camp is right around the corner. We're going to continue breaking down everything leading into that. Thank you so much for watching and for listening. As always, you can email us at lounge@ravens.nfl.net. Thank you so much, and we'll talk with you again soon.